2017 was a fantastic year for game releases. So many phenomenal AAA and indie titles alike came out that year. Hidden among the heavy hitters was Snake Pass, the first in-house project developed by Sumo Digital. Snake Pass is a 3D platformer consisting of 15 levels that you need to traverse to find collectibles, doing so as a snake. That snake being Noodle! Playing this game caught me off guard at first. When you go into a platformer collectathon type game, generally you know you'll walk, you'll run, and jump. Not only can you not jump, you can't even run! Or walk. Yeah, you don't have legs! You slither and wrap and coil around, up, to the side, to the sky, and back again. The learning curve is pretty steep, but after you get the hang of it, like most games, it becomes pretty natural and intuitive. Hold the right trigger to go forward, use the left analog stick to slither left and right to gain speed, hold A to raise your head, hold X to lower your head when in water, hold the left trigger to grip onto things tighter. You can even utilize your little bird buddy to lift up your tail, potentially saving you from a pretty big fall. Wrapping your snake body around the environment feels very good. It's genuinely fun just to climb things in the game. I love it when games can do this, where simply moving around the environment can be fun in and of itself. There's a real satisfaction to overcoming a challenge, especially in the early game where every little set of bamboo poles is daunting. Late game, the levels get a fair bit more challenging and more punishing, which could set you back a couple minutes of progress. If luck is what got you to a certain point, it can be frustrating having to redo parts of the game, hoping luck is on your side again. I think the game should have clarified how time-saving and important going back to already used checkpoints is. Losing a load of time due to ignorance feels unfair. The biggest challenge of the game by far isn't in any level, it's wrestling with the camera. It's not always terrible, but it's extremely apparent that at times it's just broken. Areas where you're in cramped spaces are a nightmare for this kind of thing. Bafflingly, the developers must not have noticed it, as nearly all the later levels have plenty of tight spaces where there's hardly any camera control at all. Seriously, these end levels are enough to make a player give up on the game when the camera fails them so many times. There are times when the game won't even let you take control of the camera, and those times seem pretty arbitrary. Yes, it's nice to see what this lever will do, but that doesn't help exploration in the slightest when I can't pan around to see behind the stone here. Oh, okay, so it will show me what other switches do, but not this one. I don't get it. It wouldn't be as terrible if not for the constant repositioning it does without your input. Even if you did have a spare thumb to reposition the camera during tense situations, the camera still messes you up constantly. It seems like it needs to be looking at Noodle's head or something, and if that isn't satisfied, it will snap into awkward positions, leading to a struggle to not immediately fall to either death or down a level, which is sometimes worse. Looking at all the progress undone, you slowly come to terms with the fact that your choices are either to stop playing or to climb all the way back up. At those times, it's good to pause and take a breather, maybe get a drink. The collectibles you go for in the game are strange. The thematic consistency is lost when you go from gate key to wisps to golden coin. I'd be able to forgive that if not for the fact that the wisp and the golden coins are completely optional and nearly worthless. If you get all 75 golden coins and all 300 wisps, you do unlock the 8-bit costumes for the snake and the bird. Anything under that, you don't get anything. A shop system of sorts would have fit right in and matched thematically with the coins, and been a functional use for the player. At the end of the game, you unlock the power to be able to see coins with the snake vision. Maybe unlock that through the shop instead, costing 30 coins. Maybe have different skins or color palettes for Noodle be 5 coins each. If you do 5 new colors for Noodle, that would be a total of 55 coins in total. The last 20 could be color swaps for the bird, or maybe even unlocking the soundtrack. Anything is better than nothing. The wisps fit a bit more thematically with the game, but again, them doing nothing is just weird. Maybe you could require players to collect a certain amount of them before accessing the next realm or something. I don't know, it just strikes me as a very odd inclusion to have 2 completely worthless sets of collectibles outside of an unlock for getting all of them. Some are fun to get to, yeah, but is it worth spending your time hunting that last wisp or coin in a level? Plus, by the time you finish the game, I really doubt you're eager to start it up again, so it's just the worst time to unlock that 8-bit costume. Speaking of things in the game that aren't very well thought out, the story is basically non-existent. It's about an evil-looking bird that takes the gate keys to the realms of the mountain. Not much is really shown or said until literally the last cutscene. Then they not only give the supposedly evil-looking bird a ton of random character building and dialogue, "It was all a mistake. He wanted the shiny thing we've never seen before." They hint after the credits for a sequel or DLC, which I don't think ever happened. I don't think it's a big flaw of the game as it makes up for it in other areas, but some cutscenes and story beats could have been thought up to move the game along, perhaps like some funny character interactions with Noodle and the evil bird. Maybe Noodle has an evil brother and they gotta stop a scientist or... Okay, I gotta be honest. I just want anything that gives Noodle some well-deserved screen time. I love the snake design so much. He is so cute! He's surprisingly expressive for a snake. Just look at him! I think if Sumo Digital came up with a few more characters as unique and charming as Noodle, a fun little story was possible. Instead, his charm is nearly wasted in all the cutscenes. In gameplay, his expression is able to be changed with the D-pad, but the best expressions come naturally for this little guy. When you tighten your grip, his face turns into an adorable struggle face. When he collects a thing, he gets happy. When you fall, he screams. It's subtle, but his face when he's underwater, holding in his breath with his big cheeks, it's great, I love it. Basically what I'm saying is, just put Noodle in a room and let him react to wacky things. There you go, Oscar bait material right there. The music is a bit of a mixed bag. David Wise, the composer, worked on games such as the Donkey Kong Country series, Battletoads, Star Fox Adventures, and who could forget, it's Mr. Pants. He has a proven track record for sure, but I never got into the music of this game as much as a few of his other works. Something about it just kind of feels hollow to me. I do wonder how much of that has to do with the gameplay though. You can notice and feel the beat of a tune as you're running and timing your jumps out properly, opposed to slowly sluthering around hoping not to die. When I did pay attention to the music, I got tricked by the level design. I noticed that drops of water hitting a drum were making a noise. I suddenly got very excited and went over to the drum, hearing how it complements the music. Well, it doesn't at all. Just random drips. What could have been though? There is one song that is really catchy though, and I sing it from time to time at home. It's good. It's this one in this level. And in this level. And in this level. And this one too. Yeah, I actually didn't realize it at first, but there's only one song for every 4 levels. I think it says a lot that I didn't even notice this until well into my second playthrough. Man, this is a good song though. Look at him jam. The way the 4 realms and 15 levels are presented to the player isn't very interesting. This is definitely due to it being a small team that has a scope limitation, but I think it would have been pretty cool to slither around all 4 levels seamlessly, opposed to it being a jarring set of islands in the sky. The music all being the same would have made more sense since it's all one big area, and they could have had like a small slide in a tube sequence or a cutscene to hide the load screen. Maybe the game could have even been paced better if there were cutscenes of story littered between levels, or some kind of Mario 64-esque slide sequence into the next area. Going from 15-minute level to 20-minute level to even eventually 40-minute levels kind of wears thin after a while. Even if your patience is great, it will whittle you down. On the topic of nitpicks, the way you enter in the later levels after starting up the game again isn't the best. It's small, but having to scroll through all the previous levels to go to the next one is odd. You also can't skip cutscenes, which is especially cruel if you go back and nab some of the coins you missed with the snake vision on the last level of each realm. And it's especially cruel if it's the last level of the game, which you have to watch the full last cutscene again, and the credits again, and the post-credits scene again. Why? I'll let you share the experience with me as I conclude here. I know it sounds like I had a lot more bad to say than good, but that's only looking at it as a numbers game. I weigh gameplay and fun much more than other parts, and it's pretty clear when playing that that's what they were going for. They're trying to make a fun game. Seb Lease, the creator, said the idea for making this game came about while trying to make a moving rope as he was familiarizing himself with the Unreal Engine. After working on it for a while, winning the Sumo Digital Game Jam in 2015 with the prototype Snake Simulator, his bosses took notice of how much potential this game had and gave extra time and resources into the project, leading to what we have now. I'm really happy that Seb stumbled onto this idea and that Sumo Digital supported the project. In a genre that doesn't get nearly enough innovation, this has to be one of the most unique platformers I've ever seen. It has plenty of flaws, but the core gameplay is so fun, and Noodle's so charming, those flaws are worth overlooking.